So, 2015 Toyota Corolla, complete brakes and rotor. Of course, these are factory. Customer complaints are noise with the rotor, but as you see here, you see where the rotor has been, the pad has been making contact there, and then of course the pad is getting very low. Let's see if I can get a good shot of that. You see the pad is very low, close to the rotor, which is right in here. That's the rotor. That's the pad that's there. And as you can see, where it slides up in here, there's a lot of depth there. A new rotor, a new brake pad that will be almost to the very edge there. So I'm gonna disassemble it, and there's a few tricks that go with it. Of course, removing the caliper with a 14 millimeter, and I haven't really saw what size yet, but I believe that's a 17 millimeter as well there. So, and that's the caliper bracket caliper. So I almost forgot. So there's a shortcut, of course, in here. There's a piston in there which pushes up against the brake pad. Of course, you got a brake pad on this side of the rotor, and on that side, which should be here and there. Rather than using a C-clamp, you can always just push the piston in ahead of time with a screwdriver. So here I got the screw loose down here at the bottom, just to give me a little room. See how I just going in, pushing in very easily. Pushing in very easily, so that'll save you time. Of course, you don't want the customer sitting inside the car, and you must tell them never to step on the brake, because if they step on the brake, that piston, which is this piston right here, will push back out, and 9 times out of 10 you got to replace the caliper. You can get it back in, with the right technique and everything, but it's more of a headache out in the middle of nowhere. Of course, you'd have to get it in on your own, but other than that, it would just be considered to be ruined. So, and like I said, customer complaint, not really complained, but just knew that his brakes needed to be done here. So there's the inner brake pad, and then there's the outer brake pad. You have to pry them out, preferably with a screwdriver or a small, tiny pry bar, like that. So, of course, you do have brake pads, and any wise thinking mechanic would, make sure that he has the right parts. So he makes sure he has the right parts. So he would, look at them, and then match them up. Wait a second here. Yes, I am busting up here. Okay, so that's the brand new brake pad, and here's the new one, and it sizes up perfectly. So the caliper bracket. So basically the brakes off, but notice that we have some sticking slides. So there's a technique to do that. Of course, with a torch, and loosen it up, and then and remember to always buy the full tube of lubricant. Don't buy that little sissy small one that they put in the box at the store. It's a ripoff. You pay more for the little one than you would for buying this whole tube for about $5-6. Another thing too, so basically this one kind of loosened up, and I will get it to come out by just pulling back and wrenching at the same time. It's a big deal. But this one at the top, is really sticking. So you don't want to force it, because what could end up happening is the shaft could twist on the inside of there and didn't really screw. So after about 10 minutes of this, warming it up with a let's be straight here. MAP gas torch. Propane sucks. Do not use propane. It doesn't do the justice as MAP gas does. But after warming it up for about 10 minutes, because I didn't want to record it the whole time, then it finally loosened up, and it's finally loose now, and you can get it off. And then, of course, you know, then it really was a 17 millimeter on the inside bolt tip for the caliber bracket. So I'm gonna get those all the way out, and then we'll lubricate them before. We'll lubricate them before I have to reassemble everything. Okay, so that's so when like I said, I did a little twisting back and forth and turning with the electric guard on there, and once I got it to where I want it, then you can put a pair of vice grips on here and then just pull and see how they came out, and see it's still hot from the heat. And I did not twist this off inside of there, which means we don't have to go buy another caliber bracket. And the same thing should apply. Another thing too, when I aim the torch, if you notice that the rubber boot is still unburnt and undamaged. You don't want the rubber boot to be burned out with the torch. You want to aim away from the direction of the rubber boot so you don't burn it up, but then you still have to go back to the store. All right, so and then this one's the same theory. Let's see here. Holding, kind of handling with the phone, and well, you guys know. All right, here we go. So it's basically the same thing. You know, just twist and then push at the same time. See how that's coming out? See it's coming out. And it's out. And this, remember, the one on the bottom has a little rubber thing in there too. A little rubber thing on the end of it. You want to make sure that goes back in at the bottom. I think that quiets down the noise or something when you step on the brake, you know. And see here. And like I said, 17 millimeter. I had already loosened them up already. Caliber bracket. And the caliber bracket's out. And then make sure you recover the screws, and they're still in here. So, but I'm gonna take them out anyway. I don't want them falling. All right, and the last and final thing is the rotor. So, of course, a WD-40 did. I really did already take it off, but of course, with a hammer this large, sledgehammer, you don't want to use a claw hammer or a little sissy ball peen hammer. You want something this big to handle the job, and you hammer here, and you hammer at the bottom. So, and then it basically came off. It wasn't that easy. I had to really whack the hell out of it, and that's how you would do a complete brake job on a 2115 Toyota Corolla. I mean, of course, the reverse procedures, you know, and don't forget to check the rotor and make sure it's the right one.